You won't believe what happened to me last night. I'm Ashley, by the way. I'm a nurse, an ER nurse to be exact. 20 years on the job, seen every kind of disaster you can imagine. I'm not easily rattled. But what slammed into me after midnight? Nothing like I've ever faced. I'm still shaking just thinking about it. So picture this. The hospital is packed as usual, noise bouncing off the walls, machines beeping nonstop, sirens echoing in the distance. I've been working a 16-hour shift, knees aching, hands numb but steady. It's late. Most people are asleep right now, but in the ER, chaos never sleeps. I'm used to it. I am the calm in the storm, right? Then it started. One after another, patients arrived. Young, old, men, women, each carrying terrible wounds, gunshot holes, burnt clean through skin, jagged cuts, broken bones sticking out like splinters. They all said the same thing. There'd been a terrorist attack at Westfield Mall. Gunfire, screams, blood everywhere. But here's the kicker. The mall's open. Lights on, music playing, shoppers dropping bags and laughing like nothing happened. No news flashes, no police vans outside. Nothing. End. My heart dropped. Confused, I pulled up every news feed and police update I could access. Dead air. Silence. No mention of any attack. The floor felt suddenly unsteady beneath my boots. And I swear to you, the patients kept coming. Some faces I recognized. People I'd treated before for similar wounds. Only their injuries hadn't healed. It was like they'd been trapped in some endless loop of pain. God, their eyes were hollow, desperate. I could feel their terror clawing at me. It shook me to my core. Doctors whispered that these patients shouldn't exist. Technicians avoided looking my way. The hallways, the hospital corridors where stretchers passed. Security cameras showed nothing. No bodies arriving, no chaos. Just empty hallways. Like ghosts rolling silently through the building. My hands trembled as I checked again and again. My throat tightened every time I saw those familiar faces fade before my eyes. Not fully gone, but not really there. How could this happen? What was this nightmare? I'm telling you straight, I don't know if I was losing my mind or if something worse was at play. I started digging quietly, piecing scraps together. A massacre erased so completely that no official record exists. No media coverage. No families asking questions. It's like the lives of those people were wiped from memory. Every time I felt close to answers, walls seemed to close in tighter. Invisible forces pushing back hard, keeping me from seeing the truth. Last night, as the clock ticked past 1, another patient arrived. Her face froze me in my tracks. Dead ringer for someone I loved and lost. I couldn't speak, just stared, heart hammering. Who was she? Why was she here in this living nightmare? I'm telling you this because I need someone to know. What I saw changed everything I believed about this world. What's real and what isn't? It all twisted in a way I never thought possible. This isn't over, not by far. And honestly, I'm terrified of what's next. I want to tell you about the people in my life, the ones who kept me grounded long before this nightmare. Because this whole mess didn't just happen out of nowhere. It came crashing through a life full of memories, friendships, even love. First, there's Mark, my best friend and fellow nurse. We met on our very first day at the hospital over 10 years ago. He's the kind of guy who laughs too loud and drinks his coffee black, no sugar, always cracking stupid jokes to cut through the tension when the ER hits its worst. Mark saved my ass more times than I can count, both on the floor and off it. Once, during a crazy overnight shift, we ended up eating cold pizza by the break room window, talking about nothing at all, just to keep ourselves sane. We share this easy understanding, like a secret handshake without words. Then there's Linda, the head nurse. She's been with this hospital for almost 30 years and knows every protocol and every patient like the back of her hand. But she's more than that. She's like a second mom to me, tough but with a heart that aches for the suffering she sees every day. Linda's voice is always calm, deliberate, even when chaos blooms around us. I remember one night, after a horrific car crash, she held my trembling hands and told me, "Ashley, you can't fix everything, but you can be there." That stuck with me. My husband, Tom, rounds out this trio. We've been together for 15 years, met in nursing school. He's a paramedic, the kind of man who hears tragedy, then comes home and quietly patches up broken lives with quiet humor and a steady hand. When I get home shaking after a shift, Tom's the one who wraps me in silence that speaks louder than words. We've built a life of late-night talks, inside jokes, like the time I forgot to set an alarm and almost missed his birthday, but also of shared exhaustion and hope that tomorrow will be better. None of them would understand what happened last night. I'm not sure I understand it myself. Looking back, strange things started weeks ago. Mark was the first I noticed acting weird. He's usually the loudest voice in the room, but lately, he barely spoke in staff meetings. His eyes, always sharp and sharp-witted, looked distant, like he was somewhere else, haunted maybe. I told myself it was stress, just the usual toll. Linda, too, almost mechanical. I caught her staring blankly at the schedule board one morning, like she'd forgotten. Then she smiled, a slow, empty smile. It freaked me out so much I joked about ghost shifts in the lounge, but no one laughed. Tom mentioned it too on our last day off, over burnt toast and stale coffee. He said he'd seen weird calls come through his dispatch, reports that made no sense, locations that didn't even exist. He shrugged it off, but his hands trembled when he refilled my mug. And me? I was so wrapped up in work, I missed the signs. A tight silence between us all, the glances that didn't meet, the way the hospital sometimes felt colder, corners darker than usual. The weirdest part? Mark disappeared for almost a whole night last week. No calls, no messages. When he showed up, he brushed it off with a lame excuse about family emergencies. But his eyes told a different story. Like he had walked through fire and came back silent. Now, I can't shake the feeling that this nightmare is tangled with them, in ways I don't fully see yet. That face I saw last night, the one frozen like a photograph dropped in water, maybe it wasn't just a ghost of the mall attack. Maybe it's connected to those strange cracks in people I trust. I keep asking myself, when did the real world start slipping? When did the people I love become shadows too? There were signs, subtle, barely there, But now that a door is open, I don't know if I can close it again. I didn't see it at first. It started with a thrown-away comment from Lisa, the tech who works nights with me. We were chatting while running labs, and she mentioned something weird. A Mark from admin called her last week, asked her questions about patient files that didn't exist. Mark from admin? I said, confused. You mean Mark? My Mark? She nodded, eyes twitching. Yeah, said he needed info for compliance audits. Thing is, those files, they're not there. Not in any system. That didn't sit right, but I pushed it away. Maybe a mix-up. Still, the doubt crept in. Later that night, still shaken from the mall thing, my curiosity got the better of fatigue. I tapped into the hospital's digital archives, quietly digging for anything odd about Mark. Tapping away, heart thumping in my ears like a storm in my chest. I found it. Hidden folders, encrypted files buried under layers, stuff you wouldn't normally see. At first, there was nothing. Just patient reports, codes, routine paperwork. But then a name popped up. Same last name as Mark. But the pictures? Not him. They showed a man in military uniform, tall, rigid, face sharp as a knife. The name matched. More pictures, medal ceremonies, classified briefings, blacked out sections in documents, stamps that read, top secret. I blinked, heart hammering so loud I was sure someone could hear it. Back to Mark's profile, his official hospital ID said he'd been here 10 years, but these files said otherwise. Before this, a different life, a different identity, and a patch of records labeled disappearance, dated exactly when he showed up at this hospital. A name change, an erasure. I clicked open an audio file, hands trembling. A voice, crisp but tense, talking about exfiltration, cover identity, and Operation Compromise. The words were cold, disconnected from anything I knew about Mark, the warm guy who joked and cared for patients beside me. My throat tightened. I felt washed out. All the memories, him laughing through the night, cheering me during the hardest shifts, were suddenly paper-thin lies. Had I ever really known him? Could I trust my own heart? I grabbed my phone to call Tom. No answer. I texted Linda. No reply. Something clicked into place. Mark wasn't just distant. He was in hiding. I decided to confront him. Quiet steps toward the break room where he usually sat. The place now eerily empty. No jacket. No coffee cup. No Mark. I asked around. Seen Mark? They shook their heads. A nurse whispered, he left early last night. No word. Just gone. Cold dread spread across my skin like ice. The place felt suddenly too quiet, too empty. Like the hospital itself was holding its breath. I stood there, breath shallow, hands shaking. That warmth, that trust, they had been a mask. A story told so well I forgot to doubt. And now? He had vanished. No goodbye, no explanation. Just a hole where someone I loved used to be. I'm staring at my phone, fingers frozen over the screen. Do I call the police? Or am I too deep down this rabbit hole already? The line between truth and lies is bleeding out, and I don't know how to stop it. Mark isn't just missing. He's disappeared from my world. And maybe, from this world altogether. I don't even know where to start because everything's unraveling so fast, I'm barely holding on. After finding out about Mark, that secret past, the lies, I looked closer at everything. And nothing feels real anymore. My job, my home, my whole damn life. I went back to the hospital last night. I needed answers, or at least something solid to grab onto. The place was quiet, almost too quiet. Shadows crept along the halls, stretching like fingers. Machines hummed, but no patients, no people. I checked the staff roster. Mark was gone. No trace, like he was erased. Then I noticed Linda's name, marked inactive for weeks. But she'd been at work when I saw her, right there, calm and cool. My phone buzzed with a message from Lisa, the lab tech. Just one line. Not everyone is who they say. Nothing else. I sat in the break room, heart pounding like a drum, fingers fumbling with my coffee cup. The bitter taste burned my tongue and woke me up. I thought about Tom, tried calling him. No answer. Left a message that felt hollow. My own apartment didn't feel like mine anymore either. The walls were too white, the air stale. I blinked, thinking I'd misplaced something. Then I realized all my photos, the ones on the fridge, the nightstand, were missing. Even the calendar was blank, no marks or birthdays. I dug through drawers, searching for anything. Bills, letters, anything that anchored me. But all my mail was gone. I opened my laptop, watched it boot up slow like it was thinking. The desktop wallpaper was a blank screen. No pictures, no folders. It was like I had been edited out, erased. The faces, I tried picturing Mark laughing at me, Linda's calm face, Tom's quiet smile. All fuzzy, melting at the edges like wet ink. My chest tightened. Breathing got sharp and shallow. I sat on the couch, heart thudding so loud I thought my ears would burst. I was shaking, cold sweat running down my back. The room tilted suddenly, and I grabbed the armrest to keep from falling. Panic hit like a wave. My lungs screamed for air while my hands clawed at my shirt. I felt like I was disappearing too, like the walls closing in, swallowing me whole. The night dragged on with no sleep. Every creak, every distant siren felt like it was calling my name. I saw shadows moving just outside the window. Maybe it was the streetlight. Maybe not. I tried calling Linda again. No answer. Tom, still silent. Their voices, their presence, poof. Gone. I even ran to the hospital again this morning. The receptionist looked at me like I was crazy when I asked about Mark and Linda. Never heard of them, she said flat. I walked the halls searching for something. The place felt empty, painted over, like someone scrubbed out the memories. And then I started doubting me, my memories. What if none of it ever happened? Was I just dreaming all those years? The late night laughs with Mark, the quiet moments with Tom. I blinked at the ceiling. It looked unfamiliar, harsh. I feel lost inside my own head. Everything bends, twists. I don't know what's real anymore. People I trusted, maybe they're part of it. Lisa's warning echoed inside me. Not everyone is who they say. Who then? I can't even trust my own mind. I'm writing this because it's the only thing left to hold on to. And now, something worse is creeping in. I'm being watched. Last night, Footsteps circled my building, slow and deliberate. The blinds shook, despite no wind. My front door rattled, like someone tried the knob, twice. No one else saw it. No one else ever believed me. I'm scared. Not just in my head. This is real. I don't know how to run from something I can't see. And if Mark's gone, maybe I'm next. I keep hearing a voice in the dark that says, "You don't belong here." And I think maybe they're right. Last night was something else. I was back at the hospital, alone, or so I thought. The place was dead silent, thick with that kind of quiet that gnaws at your skin. Then, out of nowhere, the lights flickered, like a bad storm was crashing through the wiring. I reached for the breaker box, but the switch twisted in my hand like it was made of air. I swear I heard Mark's laugh. Not the usual goofy coffee-drunk one. This was cracked, hollow, like it was coming from a place underground, cold. Then a shape appeared in the corridor. Mark, standing there just beyond the nurse's station. But he wasn't right. His body shimmered, pixels breaking apart like glitching on a broken screen. His eyes, black holes sucking in the light. "Ashley," he said, not with his voice. It was inside my head, a voice so clear it split my skull. I stumbled back. My heart thundered so hard I thought it'd burst my chest. The walls around him bent, like he was bending the hospital itself. The floor rippled beneath my feet, like I was standing on water. Then the impossible happened. Time cracked open. The clock on the wall spun backwards, twisted fast, while the hallway stretched like taffy, folding into itself. I saw countless versions of Mark, all flickering in and out. Some younger, some older, some bleeding from impossible wounds, souls bleeding, not flesh. 2 orderlies burst in, eyes wide like they'd just seen a nightmare. They gasped. One grabbed my arm. "What the hell? Who is that?" His voice shook, hands trembling. Mark's form reached out, not with a hand, but with a ripple of cold that crawled across my skin like ice worms. Then a flood of images hit me. Memories that weren't mine. Moments from Mark's secret past, flashbacks of war zones, cold rooms with blinking monitors, whispers of names no one should say aloud. Linda showed up next, but wrong. Her face cracked, like a puppet's mask tearing. Her smile melted away to a grim, toothy snarl that made me want to vomit. "You don't belong here," she snarled. The same voice, sharp and inside my head. The hospital morphed around us, the walls bleeding shadow, the ceiling folding inward like a black hole. I heard screams, hundreds echoing from nowhere and everywhere. I tried to call Tom, but the line was dead, buzzing with static that hissed like 1,000 voices whispering lies. Then Mark's figure pulled closer, body phasing between flesh and smoke. His mouth moved, but no words came out. Instead, a shiver went through me. I felt every one of his secrets, every lie pouring in like poison. The orderly screamed now, stumbling backward. Eyes locked on the ghostly things twisting the air. One dropped his radio, smashing it on the floor, where it cracked open to reveal strange glowing runes inside, like symbols from another world. I couldn't breathe. My chest was tight, ribs aching like they were glued together too tight. My hands trembled so hard I nearly dropped my phone. And in that moment, I knew. Mark wasn't just hiding. He wasn't human anymore. Something else wore his skin. Something that folds time, that erases memories, that drags people between worlds. I wanted to scream, wanted to run, but I was frozen in the center of this impossible nightmare. Mark's eyes met mine one last time, black and endless. Then he vanished, folding into the walls like smoke in a wind tunnel. The hospital snapped back to silence. The orderlies stared at each other, pale and broken. "No one else can see it," one whispered. "No one else remembers, but we did." The world I thought was real cracked open like broken glass, and I fell through. Nothing I believe is true anymore. And somewhere deep down, I fear I never will be again. This isn't just a lie or a secret. This is a different kind of horror. Beyond the dead, beyond time, beyond anything sane. And it's alive, right here, with me. I need you to sit with this for a minute. I found something. Something no one ever wanted me to see. It hit me like a punch in the gut, and I'm still gasping for breath. I was going through Mark's files again, late last night. The encrypted folders I cracked open before, they had more in them. Tons of data, but buried deep, hidden like secrets in a sinking ship. I kept digging, heart pounding, hands shaking, and I saw it. My name. Not Ashley, another name, one I didn't recognize at first, but it was tagged everywhere. All these reports, timelines, documents, descriptions of someone who died 5 years ago. That someone was me. I sat back, breath caught in my throat. I pressed play on an old video file that played a pale face, the same face as mine, but blank, distant like a ghost in a hospital bed. The voice on the tape said, "Patient 4726, sustained fatal injuries. Declared dead. Brain activity minimal. Neural scan indicates persistent consciousness in simulated environment." Simulated environment. I dropped the phone. My chest felt tight, like a vice. The room blurred. I was shaking so hard I couldn't hold myself upright. My memories, everything, was a lie. I'm not a nurse. Or, not really. I died years ago. Everything I thought I was, the years working in the ER, late-night coffee talks with Mark, the warmth from Tom, Linda's steady gaze, all fabrications. My brain alive but trapped in a digital ghost hospital. A simulation constructed to keep what? My mind? My soul? Or to study me, manipulate me? I remember flashes now. Cold white rooms, tubes feeding machines, doctors watching screens, strangers whispering about memory integrity and protocol compliance. And those empty halls at the mall attack? A glitch in the program. The patients, ghosts trying to break through the code. The worst part? Mark, not just a nurse or a friend. He was the custodian, a security program disguised as a person. He kept me tethered, dug into my head, kept me from breaking down for so long. And Linda? She's the operator, the voice guiding the experiment, the one who smiled that empty, cold smile. She's been monitoring every raw edge of my mind, shaping what I can remember, what I can feel. Tom, I don't even know if he ever existed beyond data points arranged to make me feel safe. I'm screaming inside, but no sound comes out. Not really. The foundation of who I am is crumbling. I'm nothing but code. No past, no family, no life, just a whisper in a machine. And now, Linda's voice, radio crackling in my head, stands between me and freedom. You don't belong outside the system, she says. You're dangerous out there. The choice? Stay. Remain a ghost in this constructed hell, safe and unaware. Or break out. Risk it all. Tear apart the fragile reality. And maybe cease to exist at all. I'm trembling at the edge. The walls of this fake world are closing in tight. Every memory feels like a lie. Every friend a mask. But there's a flicker, a spark in the void. Maybe real life is waiting beyond the black. Or maybe it's just emptiness. Either way, I have to choose. Stay and fade into nothing but a shadow trapped in this broken place, or step into the unknown and end the simulation. This isn't just a nightmare, it's a cage, and I'm the only one who can open the door, or be swallowed by the silence forever. I'm standing in the middle of that endless white room again. The one that hums with cold electric buzz and smells like plastic and sickness. My hands are shaking so bad I can barely hold the small device in front of me. The key, the switch I wasn't ready to face. 2 buttons glinting under harsh light. One red, one blue. The voice, that same piercing, icy sound, rings in my head. You must choose. Save yourself. Leave everyone else trapped. Or stay. Lose yourself, but keep them safe. I close my eyes. My chest feels tight, like someone's pressing down hard, squeezing air out slow and sharp. My knees wobble. Save me, it says. Escape this cage. Find the truth out there, even if it means shutting down the whole simulation. Everyone else, gone. Lost forever in the code. Just shadows, ghosts. But if I stay, if I don't press the red button, if I take the blue one instead, I'll become less than human. They said I'd lose myself, my memories, my soul, whatever made me who I am. It would all fade, twisted and scrambled into something else. But the others, Mark, Linda, Tom, they'd keep their place, safe. I picture Mark, that cracked, glitching face, flickering in the dark halls. Is he really gone, or just waiting? Linda's cold, unblinking eyes, was she my protector or my jailer? Tom's silent smile, so soft, but maybe just a lie. I hear Lisa's voice, faint but sharp. Not everyone is who they say. The hallway behind me creaks like it's breathing. The walls pulse, living. Shadows crawl close. Something out there, watching. I think of all the faces, the patients with sunken eyes burned into my mind, the echoes of screams, the hospital folding into itself like taffy. If I press red, I leave them to vanish. They'll disappear like they never existed. But I'll be free. Real. Maybe broken, but free. If I press blue, I'm trapped, but I'll keep the world alive. People I love live, even if I don't. My throat tightens. I can't swallow. I want to scream, to cry, but no sound comes out. The voice comes back, colder now. Choose. This is the end of the line. I bite down hard. My teeth hurt. I think of Tom, waiting at home that might not exist. I think of Mark, his laugh, or whatever that thing was that wore his face. I think of Linda, that second mother, so cold she could freeze fire. And me, a ghost or worse. I freeze. I want to run, but my feet are roots. My mind screams that there is no choice. Then, fingers numb, I reach for red. I press it. The world shatters. White noise roars. Walls crack with electric fire. The hum spikes into a scream that rips through my skin. My vision explodes into shards of broken light. Memories flood. Some mine, some not. Faces twisting, burning up. But then, silence. I open my eyes. The room is gone. There's nothing but black, vast and empty. A cold emptiness wraps around me. No weight, no air, just hollow dark. And the voice, smiling now, cruel and sharp, whispers in my ear. You are free, but so alone. Somewhere far away, people fade. Mark's laugh dies. Linda's smile shatters. Tom's whisper vanishes. I'm the only one left, a ghost outside the cage. And worse, without a cage, I don't even know if I'm real. My hands shake in the dark. I scream inside, but no one hears. Nothing feels alive anymore. I'm alone. And I made this choice. There is no going back. I'm still trying to catch my breath. After I hit that red button, everything ripped apart. The world I knew just vanished, like a firestorm wiping out years all at once. At first, there was nothing, just cold blackness and silence pressing in on me like a weight I couldn't shake. My hands felt empty, my chest tight, like I was drowning in air. I reached out, but there was no ground, no hospital, no Tom, no Mark, no Linda, nothing familiar to hold on to. Then slowly, pieces returned, but twisted, in sharp, stabbing flashes, like waking from a bad dream into something worse. The hospital came back first, but it wasn't the same. The walls were cracked, colors muted as if light was dying there. The steady hum of machines sounded distorted, like a broken radio you can't quite tune right. Patients moved through corridors like shadows, faces blurred, impossible to reach. I looked for Mark, for that ragged laugh, for even a glimpse of the man behind all the lies. He was there, sometimes just a flicker in the corner of my eye, eyes empty, a glitch in the air. Not fully gone, but never really real anymore. Linda showed up too, but colder. Her smile was sharp, thin, full of warning. She didn't speak much, just watched, like a guard standing over a forgotten prison. I wondered if she regretted anything or if she was just stuck. Tom, I searched the empty rooms, hoping for that quiet comfort I clung to. But it was like the warmth was swallowed whole. His place was a ghost, a space where silence screamed louder than voices ever could. I realized this world I'd saved came at a cost. My friends weren't erased, but they vanished, but fractured. Broken pieces holding on, but never quite themselves. Like survivors of some disaster no one talks about, walking through a quiet wreck. Me, I'm different too. Something inside me cracked open when I chose freedom. I'm lighter somehow, but hollow at the core. Like I lost a part of my soul in that black void. They say you pay for escape. I think that's what this is. Memories that were once sharp, now blur at edges. Faces fade when I try to hold them. Sometimes I catch myself reaching out to nothing. My hands shake like I'm holding on to smoke. Nights are worst. The silence wraps around me cold and close, and I feel utterly alone. Yet, there's a small spark, a flicker that tells me I'm still here, real, somehow. It's fragile, but it's mine. People around the hospital look at me differently now, half afraid, half curious. Some whisper in halls. She's changed. Saw her stare off like she's somewhere else. One nurse caught me picking at a cut on my hand until it bled. She didn't say anything, just watched, eyes soft with worry. I think maybe they see the cost too. I tried reaching Linda once, pushing past the distance that had wrapped around us like steel chains. She looked straight through me and said, "We all wear cages. Yours just shattered." There was no anger, no comfort, just cold truth. Tom never answered my calls again. I don't know if he's lost or gone, or if he ever was real. It pulls at me, the silence he left behind. And some nights it feels like a wound that might never heal. So yeah, what I gained is freedom. The raw, endless, terrifying kind. The chance to wake up outside the lie. But what I lost? Everything that made it feel like home. Some nights I lie awake, heart pounding, wondering if I made the right choice. The fear curls deep. What if this is worse? What if being alone is the real nightmare? But then there's the quiet hope that comes with the dawn. The chance to rebuild. To find pieces of truth scattered across this broken world and put them back together, one crack at a time. I'm learning to live with the silence. To find strength in the empty spaces. To hold tighter to those flickers of light that remind me I'm still here, still fighting, still human. I don't know where this path will lead, but I'm walking it now, step by fragile step, bruised, broken, but breathing. And maybe that's enough. It's been months now, but I still feel it, like a cold weight sitting right on my chest. Most days I manage to push it down, shove it behind layers of fake smiles and routine. But then it catches me off guard, like a flicker in the corner of my eye, or a sound that shouldn't be there. The other night, I woke up gasping, sweat soaking my sheets, hands shaking so bad I dropped my phone. I'd had the same dream again. The hospital hallways stretching and twisting. Mark's laugh echoing like it was coming from a broken radio. And that voice, the one that didn't belong, whispering, "You don't belong here." My throat clenched tight, fingers trembling as if I'd just run 1,000 miles. I thought I was past it. Thought I could live with the scars invisible to everyone else. But no, they're still alive inside me, bruised and raw. People don't get it. At the grocery store or walking down the street, I smile, I nod, I'm fine. But it's a lie. When someone asks how I'm doing, I swallow the words, "Not really," and say, "Good, thanks." It's easier. Most can't handle what I've become. They zoom out when I mention Mark, like I've lost my mind or caught some dark virus that might infect them too. Some friends drifted away, saying things like, "I just don't understand," or worse, "You've changed." That stings more than I admit. I'm still me, or at least what's left of me. But the world I lived in has cracked, and folks aren't sure where I fit anymore. Then there are the ones drawn in, like moths to a strange flame. People who've tasted impossible truths, who carry their own ghosts. I met a few by chance, at a diner, a late-night support group, even online. They get the silence, the fear, the sense that reality sometimes slips and blood runs through the cracks. When I'm with them, the weight eases, just a little. We share fragments, broken truths that don't make sense to others. It's like speaking in a secret language only broken souls understand. The pain hasn't dulled. Sometimes I feel it like a spike under my ribs, sharp and immediate. Other times, it's a low burn, a dull ache under the skin. I still jump at sirens, flinch at distant shouts, and avoid crowded places when my breath catches in my throat for no good reason. Yesterday was rough. I walked past a mall that reminded me too much. The lights were bright, music playing, shoppers moving like ghosts. For a second, the air shifted, edges blurred. I caught a glimpse, just for a heartbeat, of those burned-out eyes, the hollow faces I tried to save over and over. It slammed into me like cold water. I staggered back, clenching my fists until my nails bit into my palms. It's like I carry two worlds inside me. One is cracked, dark, haunted. The other is the grinding reality I try to hold on to. They bleed into each other, sometimes so fast I lose balance. I don't trust easily anymore. Every smile feels like it might hide a shadow. Every silence speaks louder than words, but I'm learning to live with that, to hold my ground even when the floor feels like it's slipping beneath me. Sometimes I catch myself laughing genuinely, in stolen moments with strangers. In the warmth of fading sunsets, joy is sharper now, like a jagged stone cutting through the numbness. It surprises me, reminds me I'm still alive, somewhere in the wreckage. But I'm marked. The choice I made ripped open doors no one warned me about. Sometimes when I'm alone, shadows stretch just a little too long, and I swear I hear whispers from those broken halls. Last week, my phone buzzed with a message I didn't recognize. No words, just a symbol, a flicker of light shaped like a hospital wing. My chest tightened, breath caught in my lungs. Something is still watching, still pulling strings in the dark. And I'm still here, holding on to shards of myself, trying to piece together what's left. This story isn't over. Not yet. I thought it was over, that I'd escaped the nightmare, torn free from that cage. But last night, I saw it again, not in the hospital this time. Not in the shadows lurking behind familiar faces. No. It was right here, in my own home. I was sitting in the dark, trying to hold on to a sliver of peace when the air changed. Suddenly, the silence felt heavier, like something pressed against my skin. Then the blinds rattled, slow, like a warning knock. I froze. A voice whispered, not in my head, but across the room, soft, cold, and low. You thought leaving meant freedom? It's just the next chapter. I turned. Empty room, but the air felt sharp, alive. The lights flickered once, twice, and then stabilized. But something had shifted. I checked my phone. Messages, calls, all gone. Contacts wiped clean. Photos vanished. like my life was being erased, bit by bit, again. And then I saw the reflection. Not mine. A face staring back. Hollow eyes, skin stretched too tight, lips pulled thin in that same cruel half-smile Linda wore. I blinked and it was gone, but the chill stayed, crawling down my spine. That's when it hit me. I'm not alone. The system I escaped isn't a place or a machine. It's a trap woven into reality itself. This world, mine, yours, it's all thinner than we believe. Shadows hiding under everyday smiles, echoes trapped beneath every routine. They never stopped watching. Mark, Linda, Tom, they weren't just people in my life. They were fractures in this fragile world, cracks where things crawling beneath try to seep through. I thought I had fought madness, but madness is part of it. I'm stuck on a fault line between what's real and what eats reality from inside. A place where memories are currency and trust is the deadliest gamble. And here's the brutal truth. This doesn't just happen to me. It happens to anyone who falls through the cracks. Someone you think you know suddenly disappears. A place you visit feels wrong, like the walls remember something you don't. A voice whispers your name when no one's there. We're all walking on that edge, haunted by unseen forces feeding on doubt, fear, and forgotten truths. So, to you reading this, watch your world closely. Notice the silence where a laugh should be. The empty space where a touch lingers too long. The faces that blur. Friends, strangers. Because if those shadows ever reach into your life, the ones who seem real might just be echoes, keepers of cages, waiting to fold you back in. And once you step through that door, there is no going back. No reset button, no second chance. You don't always see the walls closing in. Sometimes the cage is built from the very moments you take for granted. Be careful what you believe. Be careful who you trust. Because the nightmare, it never fully ends. It just waits, watching. And one day, it might be your turn to hear the voice say, "You don't belong here." And then, you won't belong anywhere at all.